Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Aston,
I'm Jillian. I'm Executive Vice President here at NuSpecies.
and I'm CEO of NuSpecies.
Those of you who are seeing this video and you're maybe hearing about NuSpecies for the first time, please go watch all of our success stories. You can go to our YouTube channel, you can download our app. On our app, you can see all the success stories that are on our YouTube channel, but then you can also read some of our blog posts and learn more about the company. Or you can go to nuspecies.com, and if you click on success stories there, it'll link you to all of the success stories as well. But that way you can learn about what we've done, what we've accomplished, and how we help people straight from our clients' mouths.
Also, you can go to newspeciesfoundation.org. We have a lot of information on that website as well, including tons of testimonials. So you can get to know NuSpecies really well by going to the app, the website, the YouTube channel, and of course, newspeciesfoundation.org to get information.
All right, so today, again, like we said, we're going to try to pop on and go live whenever we have a quick topic that we want to address. And certainly if you have any questions, you can comment and we'll see it. But today we want to talk about why NuSpecies formulas taste sweet.
And this is a question that we have gotten from hundreds of clients from day one, meaning for more than a decade. And we're going to address it. We have addressed it numerous times, on our website, in our documentation we provide to our clients at the office. But for the first time, we're going to address it more directly to everyone. So let's take it away, Jill.
Okay. So the first thing is, if you use our formulas and you like how they taste, you might be wondering, well, why are we talking about this? Well, there are a lot of people who are used to taking herbal products that are not raw. So these herbal products could be like tonics or bitters or the standard tinctures that you see in health food stores. And these herbs are processed with heat and then they're preserved with alcohol. So they end up having a bitter taste. NuSpecies formulas are cold processed. So all of the plants and herbs in our formulas are broken up into tiny little bits, and they are kept completely alive. So they're not processed at all. And the vegetable glycerin is then necessary to keep them alive and potent for the duration of the life in the bottle. And so,
meaning that the herbs are raw.
Right.
The raw herbs is like you walk into the field and pick the plants and eat it raw.
The difference here is that it's not a juice, because when you make a juice at home, you can only use the parts of the plant, like the leaves and the fruit. But and in some cases, maybe the seeds. But for us, we often use bark, we use stems, we use roots, we use all different parts of the plant. And so the cold process extraction we use allows us to use all those parts of the plant, keep them alive. And that's why we use vegetable glycerin. Mm-hmm. Vegetable glycerin also, though, has a lot of its own health benefits. So we're going to talk a bit about vegetable glycerin. But if you're someone who grew up using herbs like teas and tonics and bitters, you might be used to them having to taste bad. And you might have even been told that if it's sweet, it's not good for you. If it's bitter, it's good for you. And in a lot of cases, that is true. But there are some cases where that's not true, and this is one of those cases. So if you were expecting the product to be bitter and now you're tasting something sweet, you really might not like that. We also have a lot of people who are relieved that it's sweet. They don't want to have to suffer through something bitter. And ultimately what it comes down to is we were never thinking about the taste from the start. When Aston invented the formulas, all he was thinking about is this going to help somebody? And he wanted to make it purely for that purpose only. And still to this day, no matter what complaints we might get one way or the other, it still only matters whether the product works. And that's what we focus on. So Aston, you could talk a little bit about vegetable glycerin.
Right, so before we get to the vegetable glycerin, we are also speaking even more directly to people who have diabetes, because I know that a lot of you believe that if something is sweet, that is sugar, or it's honey, or some form of both. And many of you have said it to me, do we have honey in the formulas? Do we have sugar in the formulas? No, we don't. And every study that we have ever seen or heard of has shown that using vegetable glycerin will not raise your blood sugar an iota. It will not raise it at all. In fact, many doctors around the world recommend vegetable glycerin to people who have diabetes as sweetener because it will not raise the blood sugar. It will not raise the glucose level in your body. It will not raise your A1C, which is the protein that's created by the pancreas when someone has diabetes. So you can be rest assured that the vegetable glycerin is safe. Why we use it is because we cannot find anything that's safe or better. We just can't find anything that is safe and better for the raw, natural, organic, whole foods of the NuSpecies formulas to live in. So, Jillian just explained, our formulas are raw. They are made from whole foods, and lots. Those of you who take it, you can taste the particles or feel the particles in your mouth when you drink it. It's because it's raw whole foods. Now they have to live in something, Jill.
Right.
That's why we have the vegetable glycerin. So the vegetable glycerin is taken from a nut, the palm seed nut. That's where it's taken from. And the palm seed was originally converted to some form of oils. A lot of people use the palm seed with various oils. And the oils further have all these minerals in there. And one of them is the vegetable glycerin. The vegetable glycerin itself has numerous other minerals in there that are, healthy, that are good for our health. And that's one of the main reasons why we're using the vegetable glycerin. If any one of you out there, can tell us of something that's better, we'd be happy to switch to something that's better. As long as it is also made from vegetables or whole foods, like the vegetable glycerin, it's made from whole foods, just like the NuSpecies formulas. And that's why we're using it.
Right. So some vegetable glycerin, or a lot of vegetable glycerin, is made from soy, but because of the concern about possible allergen, that soy can be a possible allergen, we strayed from that. And then also a lot of glycerin is made from animals, which, as you know, NuSpecies is all about being plant-based, a plant-based lifestyle.
Right.
And so we don't want to put animal stuff in your body. And also, so when it comes to, we have an employee who is very, very conscious about the environment and our every impact that businesses and individuals have on the earth. And she had asked us, well, where are you sourcing this palm oil from? Because it's actually a very problematic industry when it comes to displacing a lot of populations of animals and the rainforest. So we actually, when we researched that and we realized, we immediately found a different supplier. And we've been working with a supplier that I want to say it's ROTC certified, but it's an organization that certifies that that the palm oil is being harvested in a sustainable way, and that costs a bit more as well. Which again, if you feel our products are expensive, which we addressed this in our last week in our video, you should go watch it there. But we always source the best ingredients, and we do care about doing it in a responsible, sustainable manner, in an ethical way. And so we did switch our supplier and took on that extra cost that has not been passed on to you in order to be sure that we are standing for all of NuSpecies values and protecting all life, the human habitat and human health. And so we do use a sustainable source of the palm oil.
So if you have any further questions or concerns, you should really reach out to us directly. I think you should reach out to Jill or myself directly.
Right.
So we can speak with you about any concerns you have. We believe that the objections that were raised by one of our employees, I think we've fully satisfied her. And another reason why we can't use soy, because I think she had suggested to me that why don't we look into soy? Soy also has estroidal chemicals, and for some women it could be problematic, especially women who have estrogen issues. women who have cancers or other disease conditions because of estrogen. So that's another reason why we do not use soy in any of our products as well, is because of that, component.
Right. Yeah. So that's the point on vegetable glycerin. And again, please reach out to us directly if you want to talk about it further. We want to move on to a different topic. So I've been working with Aston in the health centers now for a couple of weeks, and
thank you for doing that.
Yes, it's really a pleasure. And the purpose that I serve is to help each of you decide what you're going to purchase. So if you saw Aston, you walked out of the room with what we call our dosage pad. It's basically a big piece of paper that lists all of our products, and it has check marks and stars and all this coding as to what you should,
So it looks like.
This is what it looks like. So over here is where you'll see like check marks as to what Aston thinks that you should get. And then we go into like the time of day and what your dose is. So this often has a lot of check marks depending on what your health issues are, what your health goals are. And when you come out of that office, my job is to help you figure out what to get. Now, what'll happen is, if you haven't gone through this process yet, is when you come out of the office, I or the person who's sitting up front, or the naturopathic doctor, if they are working alone that day, will pull out all the formulas so that you can see what they look like. And then we'll go into our system and pull up a quote. So they'll bring up every item. If you have check marks and stars, so the check marks are like what you should really, really start with, and the stars are like, these are great, but only if in your budget. We can even do a quote for each one. So like I'll often print out the quote, put a check mark at the top so you know it represents those items, and then I'll do a separate quote for the stars, put a star at the top, and then staple them to this so that you go home and know if you don't get everything, you know into the future you can plan your budget for the other items you need. Something that comes up often, and I wanted to say it here, is that there are three main components that determine what you walk out of the NuSpecies office with. And this is where you really have a lot of power over your health and over your rebuilding process. And this is a point that I want to make that I think will help you feel more comfortable if you haven't come in yet. We are not like a salesy kind of company. We're really bad at being like, buy, buy, buy. We're not
entrepreneurs.
We really are not entrepreneurs in that way. We honestly just want to help people. And as you know, we can only help you if you want to help yourself. But there are still limitations to that, right? So I try to reassure people, like if they're seeing a whole bunch of products and it looks overwhelming, there are three main things that are going to determine what you get. The first one is what Aston or our naturopathic doctor determines that you need. Right? So they're looking at your labs, your blood work, or they have a list of things that you describe to them that you want to work on. Based on all of that, they're going to decide what support does your body need to rebuild itself, right? And so at that point, that's where all the check marks and the stars end up on this pad. Then there is your expectations. So we have a lot of clients who are truck drivers, and every year they have to get their blood pressure and their blood sugar checked. And if it is not regulated, they can lose their license, or they can't drive. So if they know they have that test coming up and things haven't been looking so good, they're much more urgently needing to help their body rebuild than someone else who maybe is pre-diabetic and just doesn't want to get prescribed medication and it's going to change their diet, and they just need some help along the way. So depending on your expectations, the items you get on that list will differ. And then the third point is your budget. Only you really know what you can afford to spend. We can tell you all we want, how badly we think you need all these items. If it's not in your budget, it just isn't. And that's a decision that you have to make for yourself.
And this is a critical point. You should be honest with us. Tell us what your budget is. Tell us what's sustainable for you. We will find a way to work with you to get you help. Some people can get help, within a very short period of time. Other people just have to wait for a longer period of time, maybe 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. It takes what it takes, but in the end, whatever budget you provide us, it has to be sustainable. You can't just take what we recommend for 1 day or 1 week and then you disappear for 6 weeks or 6 months. Mm-hmm. You have to give us a budget that is sustainable, that we can work with to help you over time, to help your body to rebuild itself, to clean itself, to purify itself, so that your body can heal itself. For your body to heal itself, it has to be able to clean itself or detox itself. It has to be able to rebuild itself. And that's only when your body will truly heal itself, remove the issue you have entirely. It's the only way it will happen. So give us your true, honest estimates as to what your budget is. We will find a way to work with it.
Hi, Aline. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please comment below. So this is what happens every single time. I pull out all the products. I show them, these are your check marks, these are your stars. And the first thing that every person or couple or family who's sitting in front of me says is, okay, so what do I really need? This question comes up every single time. And my response is always the same. Aston or Dr. Guy or Dr. McDermott or Dr. Bowman wouldn't have put anything on here that they don't believe you really need.
They wouldn't have marked this
if they didn't think you needed it.
Didn't need it.
The bottom line is that only you know what you can actually invest in your health at this time. And you have to be honest with yourself about that, right? I mean, we've had plenty of people who had the money, they just were nervous about the house they were building, and they wanted to make sure they had extra funds in case anything come up with their vacation home, right? And so only you know what you can do. Other people really just don't have it. They've got $50 a month maybe, and until you give us some kind of boundary to go within, like $100, $500, whatever it is, then I can send you back in with Aston or with the doctor, and they can reprioritize those checks and stars based on what that number is. And then sometimes you really just need to take that dosage pad home with the quote stapled to it, and you just need to think about it. Do your research,
discuss it with your family,
discuss it with your husband, your wife, your family, and then come back when you're ready. And that is completely fine. There is never any pressure. You should never feel bad.
We encourage you to do that.
Right. Yeah. Actually, what typically happens with a lot of men is that they have all of these things listed, like LMU25, the anti-inflammatory, the detox, and then they've got it like 10 to 20 big boy or super big boy. And so,
leave the guys alone now.
Well, I'm just saying that where you might be trying to prioritize what you really want to get out of it, meaning like, can I get the detox and then just like a couple of big boy? I'm actually going to tell you not to spend that money at all, because I know that you're trying to speed up a part of the process. And I do that too. That really may not happen if you don't do the rebuilding part first, right?
So guys, what Jillian is saying is that, yes, your manhood will come back, but if you have high blood pressure or diabetes or high cholesterol or infection or inflammation, those are blood diseases. You're never going to have good blood circulation. So if you're looking to buy those big boys, you know, big boy or super big boy over your blood pressure, over your cancer, over whatever health issue you have, you're actually not doing the right thing. You should fix those underlying issues first and say to the, to the lady, say to her that, or whatever, say to her that, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm going to get there.
And I always say, like, I don't want you could buy it and maybe you'll see something, but maybe you won't. So you just have to determine whether that $15, $30, $45, $60 is really something you want to gamble with right now, when you could be putting it towards other items on your list that are actually going to lead to rebuilding your health.
In the end, we're in the business of saving lives. So if you come in and your blood pressure is, 190 over 100, you could drop that any moment from stroke or get a heart attack. If your diabetes, your A1C, is 710, your glucose level is 200, 300, you could get a heart attack as well. You could destroy your kidneys, you could destroy your eyes with diabetes or glucose so high. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, what we're saying here is not for you not to get your big boy. We're saying that we want to make sure that you're going to live. We're going to do whatever it takes to get you to stay alive for as long as possible.
And just that, we're going to be honest with you, and we're not going to try to make $15 off of you for something that we don't really know it's going to help you, because all that does for us is dilute our brand and our reputation. Because you're going to go home, you're going to use it, you're going to say, well, she warned me, but she also let me buy it, so maybe it's going to work. And then you take it, it's not enough to help your body give you the results you want. And then you're going to say, see, it didn't work. I should have known, all those things. So we really do try to protect our reputation and our brand by being honest with you. So that at no point in the visit will you ever feel pressure to buy anything. We really are just trying to help you decide what's the best you can do. And what you really need to do is come to that appointment with an open mind and recognize whatever biases you might have. Know when you're saying no to products for an emotional reason, not for a budget reason. Or know when you're pushing, you could say, well, I didn't have the money to buy the anti-inflammatory, but I have the money to buy 15 Big Boy. You know, see where your emotions and your biases are getting in the way of the process that we're trying to take you through, and then let us help you from there.
In the end, or the bottom line is, though, we're still going to go with what you desire to do.
And this happens to me with Queen Nanny too. Like women who are anxious about certain hormonal imbalances and they just want to get at some Queen Nanny, and I try to explain to them the same thing. So it's just easier to bring up the man example.
Okay, guys, so we're not being different.
We're not. No, the women do it too. So you know, women do tend to get the results faster and easier though with Queen Nanny than the men do. So it's less of an issue.
I'm still trying to figure out why.
I know, we're not sure. But so that's what I wanted to say, that the three things that are going to determine what you leave our office with are what Aston or the NDs believe you need or know that you need, what are your expectations, your emotional biases, your desires, and then what are the hard facts of your budget. And then that's how we help you decide what you should do. And sometimes it means just going home and thinking about it and coming back when you're ready, and that's totally fine. So that's the point I wanted to make there, just a little gem from my experience being in the office in the last several weeks. And then quickly, just some logistics. We want to move into our business hours changes and why that's happening and what it's going to look like into the future, and the most update that's happening this week.
Okay.
So first, the most recent update that's happening this week is that Dr. Bowman, whom we always talk about being with her on Friday here in Beacon at our headquarters, she's going to actually be in Mount Vernon on Sundays now. So this Sunday, the first Sunday, if I knew the days, I could tell you. Today's the 3rd, 4th, 5th. Sunday, May 5th will be the first day that Dr. Bowman is in Mount Vernon on Sundays. You are welcome to walk in. We already are booking appointments on her calendar though, so if you can, just call or email us or text us and let us know that you are going to be coming in. We'll just pop you on her calendar so she knows to expect you. Again, it's always free to see our naturopathic doctors, so just come on in and take advantage of the knowledge she has and how she can help you. So I know we just 2 weeks ago sent you announcements. The business hours have changed, and so now 2 weeks later, I'm telling you they're changing again.
That's why you need the app. You need the NuSpecies app.
Yeah.
You need to get it on your phone so
Hi,
you can keep up with what we're doing. Things are always changing over here.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why we're going through all these changes with our schedule in terms of in the offices is because we are hiring and still hiring a more professional staff to support you, and we would like you to, to be there with us.
And a lot of our professionals, like our naturopathic doctors, they work off the calendar. So if they can add in another calendar day, or we're finding a demand for a certain day and we add it on, or the demand for another day wanes, we're just going to keep changing the days that they're in order to accommodate you. So we find it more valuable to be open for you when the naturopathic doctors are in, rather than just being open for the sake of selling you something that you may or may not need. So we'd like you to develop a relationship with our naturopathic doctors so that every time you buy, you know that the money you're spending is going towards your ultimate health goals. Unless you're just a healthy person who needs really good quality liquid vitamins and minerals and you just need to come in and get it, I'd like to encourage you to try to order online and even stock up so that you get the free shipping and you won't need to have the hassle of that very often. But we do ship pretty fast, and it's more convenient than you may remember from years ago. Also, I'm working on our new website. It should be launched in the next few weeks, and it's going to have a much easier online ordering process. I think you'll enjoy the mobile site very much. And hopefully that'll encourage you to replenish online so that you don't have to be totally concerned about when we're open or not.
Right.
But if you're on our app, we send out notifications. So for example, somebody had a car issue and was late to work a couple of weeks ago, and I sent out a notification and said, hey, this office is opening late today. Or if there was an emergency and the office was going to be completely closed, I sent out the notification. So having the app is really important just for those logistical things to help you avoid a missed trip to the office, as well as when our business hours continue changing. You can get that information on our app, but it is also updated on our website. I can't do that myself, so that is often a little bit more delayed than the app, but you can check it on the website as well. And because we get a lot of phone calls and we can't always keep up, calling us may not always be the best way to find out if we're open. So being on the app is really helpful.
Right. So if you have certain types of phones, the iPhone is the App Store, and then I think other phones are the Play Store. You can download the NuSpecies app. And again, please understand, bear with us. The reason why we're changing the schedule is so that when you walk into a NuSpecies office, you can have a consultant or ND, naturopathic doctor, to talk to. Because you always have questions that regular employees can answer regarding your health, your family's health, your friends, coworkers' health. And that's part of the reason why we're making this big change, for you to come in when we have a naturopathic doctor actually in the office.
Because you might think you're coming in to just get some vitamins and minerals, but with a few questions, a health professional can actually dig into the underlying need you have and maybe make a better recommendation, or at least confirm that you are getting what's best for you. Every time someone comes in and is like, give me this or give me that, I immediately say, is it working for you? Are you happy with this product? Is that why you're rebuying it? And a lot of times it leads to a conversation where they end up getting something more appropriate for them. So that's why we think it's important that everyone who works at NuSpecies is not only passionate about the NuSpecies lifestyle, but is really passionate about helping people heal naturally, and will really put care and time into each interaction that you have with us. So yes, you might have to wait to get a phone call back, but when someone calls you back, you're getting someone who can really help you. And even like Beverly, Beverly's been with us for many years. She's a health coach, and she lives a NuSpecies lifestyle like no other. And she's really, really passionate about helping people. So when you go to Mount Vernon or Elmont, you talk to her, you're going to see what we mean about just making sure we're taking care of you properly. So don't be upset when we're not open, because when we are open, you're going to get a lot more value out of that time.
And you're going to get a whole lot more value for your money.
Yeah, right? Because all that guidance is free.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I think we've covered it.
Yeah. One last logistical thing, though, and we're going to fix our business cards and our website, but a long time ago, every office had its own phone number. And what happened is you'd call that number, you'd get to that office, maybe someone would answer, maybe not. You'd go into a voicemail. The problem is your voicemail would then get lost on that phone in that office, and no one would listen to it, and you'd never get a call back. So what we did is we ported all those numbers into our global system, which anyone in the world who works for NuSpecies can then grab that call and make sure someone picks up. If we still don't have someone available to answer, you'll go to voicemail, but that voicemail can then be retrieved by anyone in the company. It doesn't get lost on the local phone. So the only thing that I think we screwed up was that we then didn't remove those local numbers from all of our literature. So when you've been calling us, you probably thought you're reaching the local office, and then when it rings and no one answers, you think that we're closed. What it really just means is that we're all open and we're just busy with clients and we can't answer the phone. And so we are open, but that's why you're not getting the phone answered. So if you're calling those local numbers, you're actually not reaching a local office. You're reaching whoever can answer. And if you get a voicemail, then anyone can listen to it and call you back. Most importantly, if you imagine when all of our team members are logging into our system to see who we've missed, if we just see a bunch of missed calls, we now have to click on each one, call you, find out what you needed, and that takes a lot of time. If you can text us or email us, that is so much better, because I can see in writing what you need and just quickly respond. And if it requires a phone call, then I can pick up the phone and call you. So if you can utilize email and texting, if that's something you're comfortable with, that's going to get you a response from us much faster than calling us, at least at this point in time while we go through some of these scheduling changes.
And, you know, to add a little piece to that, a lot of our old clients, old meaning you've been with us from day one, I know you prefer to call the local office because it's closer to you, but believe me, whoever answers the phone now, they'll be able to assist you just as the person who is in the local office. Whether they're in other parts of the world or they're in the local office, they will be able to assist you.
Right. So if you need to know if something's in stock, they can just go into our system online and see how much product is in that office. They don't actually need to call that office. Sometimes if the number is low and they want to just be positive it's there, they'll just put you on hold. They can chat that employee. So a lot of times the employee might not be able to pick up the phone, but they could quickly answer a chat. So let our team work together to help you. Reaching the local office is really not going to be as helpful as you might have imagined it from the past.
Okay.
So that's our house cleaning or housekeeping for today.
Well, I hope that was helpful.
I hope so too. I think so. If you have anything to follow up on that, we always love feedback. We may not always be able to implement exactly what you want us to, but it's good to know what you need, and sometimes it inspires us to do other things. So please keep letting us know how we can better serve you, and we'll do our best.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.